A letter exactly like this one will be landing on your doorstep from HMRC in the coming days. Please listen to this video to find out more about what the letter tells you and every detail of what you should do next. You'll receive a letter from HMRC and the HMRC stamp will be clear on the letter. Many of these people tend to just put on the side and just think it's information only. But in this instance, it possibly could contain vital information you'll need to know about making tax digital. So for the next few weeks, make sure that you just pay attention to those HMRC letters and open them to see if one is about making tax digital. So you've opened the envelope and inside you'll find a 2-page letter, much like this. Let's go through it line by line. You'll instantly know from the header on the letter what's going on. It says you'll need to change the way you report your income and expenses to HMRC. So this is clear information about how you report your expenses to HMRC. The next bit follows a little bit more detail on this, and it says we're introducing making tax digital for income tax for some sole traders and landlords. So this piece of information is for sole traders or self-employed people and for landlords. It's important to say at this moment in time that there's no need to worry. It's not a penalty notice, it's not a demand for money, it's nothing like that. It is just a letter explaining to you what the changes are going to be regarding how you record and file for income tax if you are a sole trader, self-employed or landlord. So why have you specifically got this letter? Well, the letter goes on and it says, you will need to use Making Tax Digital for income tax from the 6th of April 2026, as your total income was over £50,000 from self-employment and property in 2024 to 2025 tax return. This is your qualifying income, which is worked out before expenses or tax are deducted. So in simplicity, what this means is that if you have earned more than £50,000 from your self-employed income and your property income combined, then you will need to pay attention to this letter and you will be required to file taxes going forward using Making Tax Digital. Now, one point I really want to stress here is that this is gross income. So this is the income from all of your earnings before you've even considered any deductions. So it is your gross income, not the income less the deductibles. So that £50,000 could be quite easy to achieve. Forget those deductibles and think only of your gross income. If that's over £50,000 for being self-employed and property income combined, then you will need to pay further attention to this letter because MTD, Making Tax Digital, will apply to you. So just to be very clear, the assessment for £50,000 does not include things like ground rents or insurance bills or other such expenses. It is literally the money that your tenants have paid to you or the sales from your self-employed income. What is Making Tax Digital for income tax? This section of the letter is very important. It says that you will need to use software in order to file your income tax going forward. And it specifies 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, you need to create, store and correct digital records of your self-employment and property income and expenses. Number 2, you need to send quarterly updates to HMRC. And number 3, you need to submit your tax return by the 31st of January the following year. Right now, most of us do one annual self-assessment return, usually the January panic. Under this new system, you will send HMRC 4 smaller updates throughout the year. one per quarter, and then a final declaration in January. Now, here's the thing that trips everyone up. Quarterly updates do not mean quarterly tax bills. You're not paying tax 4 times a year. Your payment dates do not change. What changes is how often you report your figures. And here's something else worth knowing. If you have both property income and self-employment income, you do not just submit 4 quarterly updates, you submit 8. This is because each income source has its own set of 4 quarterly updates. So, if you have 1 property income stream and 1 self-employment income stream, you are looking at 8 quarterly updates plus 1 final declaration. 9 submissions in total across the year. In the Act Now section, it says you need to do 2 things. So act now to get ready for the 6th of April 2026. So, that's only maybe 6 weeks away from when we're recording this video. The first thing you'll need to do is to get commercial software that works with Making Tax Digital for income tax, so that you can keep your digital records. You'll also need to submit quarterly updates and file your tax return. So you need a piece of software that does all of those things. And so one of the pieces of software, of course, is Rentalbux. This has to apply for the tax year 2026 to 2027, because from that tax year, you'll no longer be able to file using the HMRC online tax return, or to do it by paper. So this will be the only route for you to be able to file your taxes. Secondly, in the Act Now section, it says that you need to sign up for Making Tax Digital for income tax so that you're ready to use the service from the 6th of April. So if you've already got an accountant, you should speak with them and ask them what they're doing to be ready for Making Tax Digital. If you're working for yourself or doing this yourself, take a look at Rentalbux and see how we can help you with Making Tax Digital. Also, feel free to let your accountant know that there is a piece of software called Rentalbux, and it will be able to help you, especially if you're a sole trader and a landlord. Okay, when signing up for Making Tax Digital, remember HMRC does not do this automatically for you. You need to act now. So if you're doing this alone, you can scan the QR code at the top of the letter for step-by-step instructions to help you sign up. If you have an accountant, you should share this letter with your accountant and discuss the next steps with them. Let's now take a look at the second page of the letter. Here it tells us that Making Tax Digital is for the first tax year 2026-2027. Now, we're recording this today on the 19th of February 2026, which is still inside the 2025-2026 tax year. We should note that this tax year, 25-26, will be reported using the usual self-assessment tax return. And the deadline for that is the 31st of January 2027. But MTD does start from the 6th of April 2026, but it does apply to the tax year 26-27. So for the current tax year 25-26, file using the self-assessment tax return. For tax year 26-27, file using Making Tax Digital. With Making Tax Digital, the penalty system is changing. I don't like talking about penalties, but it's essential, we need to do it. With Making Tax Digital, HMRC will use a penalty point system. So if you miss a quarterly return, you'll get 1 penalty point. If you forget to file your end of year return, you'll get 1 penalty point. If you get 4 penalty points, then you will receive a £200 penalty notice. There is some good news when it comes to penalties. HMRC are giving you 1 year's grace. So the penalty system doesn't come into force until the 6th of April 2027. So you've got 1 year to get it right before any penalties apply. This is key. You still have to submit those quarterly updates before you can file your tax return. So don't just skip them. From 27-28 tax year, the penalty system applies fully. And finally, on penalties, if you're late paying your tax bill, there are new penalties coming in for the late payment of tax, which are more proportionate to the amount of time that you take to pay your tax. We all receive lots of HMRC scam letters. To prove that this isn't a scam, you'll see that the sign-off is from the Deputy Director of HMRC's Change Readiness team. Okay, this is the official Making Tax Digital letter. You should also know that the letter will contain on the front your unique tax reference. So you should hold on to this letter because you can refer to this if you need to speak with HMRC. At the bottom of the second page, it also mentions where you can check if this letter is the genuine copy and not a scam. So you can follow instructions there to see if it is the genuine copy. Okay, so you've read the letter. Now I want to talk to you about the solution. How can you manage Making Tax Digital? Well, this is where Rentalbux comes in. To take care of pretty much the entire contents of this letter, then you need to be looking for a piece of software that can handle all of these issues. This is Rentalbux. So go to rentalbux.com and sign up for a free trial and discover more today. There are lots of software options out there for you for MTD software, but why should you use Rentalbux? Rentalbux is specifically designed for those landlords who also have self-employment income. So if that's you, give us a call. Rentalbux is HMRC recognised MTD software, specifically for filing property income, self-employment income, and foreign property income. That's all three income streams in one software. Now, I've seen many software companies out there saying that they're HMRC approved, but it's important that it says HMRC approved MTD ready. And this is what Rentalbux is. So how does Rentalbux work? You first of all start by loading onto the software your property portfolio. Then, as rent comes in each month, you log that in the invoicing section on the Rentalbux software. You also add any expenses that have been incurred as you go through the quarter. And then at the end of the quarter, you review your figures, and with a couple of clicks, you will be able to submit your quarterly update to HMRC. For most landlords with a property portfolio of 5 or 6 properties, it should only take you no more than 10 minutes each quarter to file your quarterly update. If you're a landlord and a sole trader or have self-employed income, then you will be able to file both of your incomes all under the one Rentalbux system. This is one of the key features that makes Rentalbux superior to all of the other softwares out there. Many softwares only allow you to file for one income stream. So if you choose the Rentalbux solution, both your income streams will be able to be submitted to HMRC all on one platform. That's Rentalbux. If you're just a landlord, then Rentalbux is also for you. There's lots of handy property management features within Rentalbux that just makes managing your properties easier. If you're just a sole trader, then Rentalbux works for you too. It's got a very simple invoice and expenditure recording system, which just makes your filing your self-assessment quarterly updates and returns simple. April 2026 is just weeks away. So there are 2 actions for you to take forward from this video. Number 1, register for MTD. Number 2, select your MTD software. Why don't you try Rentalbux today? So this letter isn't something to be scared of. The only time it becomes an issue is if you just ignore it with all the pile of other letters on the side table. If I've helped you make sense of this letter today, then share this video with another landlord or one of your self-employed mates. And let's get ready for making tax digital together with Rentalbux.